On May 8th, 23 days from now, absentee ballots will be sent to all registered Montana voters in the state's first all-mail ballot statewide election. That means Montanans will start voting in just over 3 weeks for the June 2nd primary election. While the coronavirus outbreak and its impacts have dominated the news, here at MTN, we would also like to help you prepare to vote in this upcoming election. So today, we're launching the first of a series of stories on the contested primary races for statewide office. Here's MTN Chief Political Reporter Mike Dennison.
Greetings from the Capitol. The primary election often doesn't get much attention from voters, but this year it should, with hotly contested races up and down the ticket, from governor to U.S. House to Attorney General, to name a few. Today we start out with a Republican primary for Secretary of State, which has plenty of candidates. The Secretary of State is Montana's chief election officer. It's an open seat this year because incumbent Republican Corey Stapleton is running for the U.S. House. Only one Democrat is in the race, State Senator Bryce Bennett of Missoula. But 6 Republicans are running, and GOP voters will choose their nominee in the primary to oppose Mr. Bennett. Those Republicans are State Supreme Court Clerk Bowen Greenwood, Stapleton's Chief Deputy Christy Jacobson, Public Service Commissioner Brad Johnson, another Johnson, Kurt Johnson of Missoula, State Representative Forrest Mandeville of Columbus, and State Senate President Scott Sales of Bozeman. Among Republicans, Senator Sales has raised the most money from donors and says he has the support of more than 100 legislators and former legislators. He says his experience in the legislature and his background in outfitting and agriculture make him a well-rounded fit for an office that also sits on the State Land Board. Mandeville also notes his legislative work on election issues and his experience running his own business. He's a land use consultant in Stillwater County.
I'm the only one in the race who knows what it's like to depend on your own small business for your paycheck. Everyone says they're going to be a friend to business, but with me, I won't only be a friend, I'll be a peer.
The Secretary of State office also handles registration for businesses. Jacobson says she has experience where it counts. In the office, she'd like to win.
The thing that separates me from all my opponents is that I've been doing the job and I'm the most qualified to do the job. And I'm running for this office. I'm not job hopping.
But she's not the only candidate that can make that claim. Brad Johnson served as Secretary of State from 2005 to 2009 and says he'd love to step right back into the job. He says he'd emphasize election security, including photo ID for voting and better signature verification for absentee ballots. Greenwood also worked in the office as press secretary under Johnson. He says he knows the job well too, and that he'd ensure fair, even-handed administration of election laws and encourage voter registration.
When I worked in the Secretary of State's office, we used to have a voter registration program, and there would be people from the Secretary of State's office at county fairs or at other gatherings registering people to vote. Why not? Why are we not still doing that?
The other Johnson on the ballot, Kurt Johnson, has no visible campaign and no contact information on file. In this crowded race, name recognition may be at a premium as voters cast their ballots. But with 6 candidates in the race, anyone can win with a small percentage of the vote. At the Capitol, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Coming up next on the news at 5.